there. I didn't see you. I was reading. Welcome to part 2 of sorting Harry Potter characters into their Enneagram types. If you haven't seen part 1 yet, I will link it right here and in the description down below. In this video, we're going to be looking at types 4, 5, 6, and 7. If you don't know who I am, hello, my name is Abby, and I am here to help you discover you. Whether that be with the Enneagram or mental health, my goal is to help you become the best version of you. I'm organizing this series based on the Centers of Intelligence Triad. Now, what is that, you ask? Well, you can group the Enneagram types together in many ways depending on what common struggles and assets they share. The most popular of these is the Centers of Intelligence Triad, so Head Triad, Heart Triad, and Gut Triad. And these types are grouped together by an emotional imbalance and a common desire. We're starting off part 2 with the Heart Triad, or the Feeling Center. These types collectively struggle with shame, desire to have a significant, authentic identity, and they operate mostly based off their feelings. We already took a look at type 2 and type 3 in the part 1 video, so now we're gonna look at type 4, the romantic individualist. People are gonna fight me on this one, but bear with me because I truly believe that Ronald Weasley is a type 4.
Oh, Miles here. Oh. Shut up, Harry.
I believe that Ronald Weasley is an Enneagram 4. Now, most people type him as a 6, so before you jump into the comments, let me make my case. Enneagram 4s are driven by a desire to be unique and special. They go through the world asking the question, am I enough? Ron grew up as the second youngest in a family of 7 kids. 7 kids. He is not the baby and the only girl like Ginny. He's not the prefect like Percy, the Quidditch captain like Charlie, renowned curse breaker like Bill, or the popular Fred and George. His entire life, he never felt like enough because there was already a Weasley child who had done it better. Let's look at the Mirror of Erised. This shows us the deepest, most desperate desire of our hearts. When Ron looks in the mirror, he sees himself as the Gryffindor Quidditch captain and head boy, holding the Quidditch cup. His core desire is to step out from the shadow of his brothers and be celebrated for his uniqueness. A type 4's core weakness is envy. They desire others who have a cooler house, a better job, a happier family. This envy, paired with a feeling that they are fundamentally flawed, makes 4s go on a never-ending quest to find that missing piece of themselves. We see this envy displayed in Ron in many instances, whether it be the wealth of other people, the fame of Harry, or the brilliance of Hermione. Type 4s long to discover their authentic identity. In the last book, Slytherin's necklace brings out all of Ron's core fears, especially his feelings of inadequacy. He is insecure about his identity as a friend, as a lover, and as a problem solver in the search for the other Horcruxes. But even when he hot-headedly abandons his friends, he comes back. Ron struggles with envy and melancholy, but he is also brave and loyal. He feels misunderstood, but he fights for what he believes in. He is stubborn and loving, jealous and empathetic. Now, here are some characters that I think are in the Heart Triad. Dobby, type 2. Molly Weasley, type 2. Narcissa Malfoy, I just hit myself in the nose, type 2. Lucius Malfoy, type 3. Percy Weasley, type 3. Fleur, type 3. Gilderoy Lockhart, type 3. Luna, type 4. And Snape, type 4. Now let's talk about the Head Triad, or the Head Center. This is types 5, 6, and 7. These types struggle with anxiety or fear, desire to have security, and they operate through mental analysis. Let's start with type 5, the investigative thinker.
Alas, he awaits.
You must have shown me real loyalty down in the chamber.
It was foolish of you to come here tonight, Tom. The orders are on their way.
Type 5s have an insatiable thirst for understanding the world, but they also view the world as an intrusive and overwhelming place. I found Dumbledore really hard to type because in the first 6 books, he's one way, and then in the last book, we discover so much about him, like after he's dead. Spoiler alert. Dumbledore dies. The way that Harry realized how little he knew about Dumbledore and Dumbledore's personality and Dumbledore's life demonstrates how withholding Dumbledore truly was. This is where I landed on type 5, because 5s are very particular about the information they share with other people. Think of the way Dumbledore surveys the students eating and talking in the Great Hall. This is how he approaches life. Observe, observe, observe. Gather all the information until you are confident that your next action is the correct one. While he theorizes about Horcruxes, he gathers all the evidence he possibly can before he takes any action. He even makes Harry get that memory from Slughorn, even though he has already destroyed 3 Horcruxes. He is thorough, and he is thorough for a reason. This careful, closed-off posture originated from his dark family past. When he engaged in a 3-way duel between his brother Aberforth and Grindelwald, his little sister Ariana was accidentally struck and killed by a curse. Dumbledore went from an arrogant, gifted young man to a shame-ridden, careful wizard. Harry tells Aberforth, "The night your brother died, he drank a potion that drove him out of his mind. He thought he was watching Grindelwald hurting you and Ariana. It was torture to him. If you'd seen him then, you wouldn't say he was free." The trauma of his sister's death made him hoard his feelings and his personal life. The less people know, the less I will get hurt. Of course, this also means that he is really lonely. He doesn't share his needs or desires with anyone. The core longing of an Enneagram 5 is to hear, "Your needs are not a burden." Dumbledore shut himself off from his needs so much that he also shut himself off from true intimacy. He has no close family, no friends. He only has loyal followers who he only shares like teeny tiny bits of information with, sometimes even to a harmful degree. In fact, I think a lot of bad stuff could have been avoided if Dumbledore had just been more open with the members of the Order of the Phoenix. One scene that sticks with me is when Harry tells Dumbledore that the Minister of Magic interrogated him. Harry says that he is Dumbledore's man, and Dumbledore tears up. Seeing Harry standing by him touches him in a way that he usually avoids. He doesn't want to open himself up to feeling loved because he might get hurt. He might even feel like he doesn't deserve love because of what happened to his sister. Now let's talk about type 6, the loyal guardian.
Pretty baby.
I don't need your help.
Yep. I think the dark, twisted, and absolutely terrifying Bellatrix Lestrange is a extremely out of alignment Enneagram 6. Type 6s are known to be reliable, faithful, hardworking, and committed. When 6s try to get their needs met, they dutifully move towards people. They double down on their loyalty and repress their own desires for the greater good. This can create some unhealthy behavior in one of 2 ways. Number 1, obsessively following the rules to earn security from authority. Or number 2, if their authority figure breaks their trust, they're gonna rebel hardcore against them. I think Bellatrix is an extreme example of number 1. She was raised in the House of Black, which held core values of pureblood supremacy and the dark arts. She was raised to respect authority figures who upheld those values. In relationships, Enneagram 6s are fiercely loyal. Trust and commitment is extremely important to them, especially because their core desire is to have security, guidance, and support. So when Voldemort rose to power, Bellatrix immediately joined the Death Eaters. She even receives training in the dark arts from Voldemort himself. She becomes one of his most loyal supporters. When Bellatrix was sent to Azkaban after the First Wizarding War, she demonstrates her slavish devotion to Voldemort, even when most of the Death Eaters had abandoned the cause, believing that their lord was dead. She says, "He will rise again and will come for us. He will reward us beyond any of his other supporters. We alone were faithful. We alone tried to find him." There are 2 ways of dealing with the inner anxiety and fear of an Enneagram 6. Phobic, which is the way that we typically see Enneagram 6s portrayed, and that is visibly worrying and looking for worst case scenarios. The second way is counterphobic. I believe that Bellatrix is a counterphobic type 6. This means that she deals with her fear by moving towards it with strength. She faces her anxieties head on, even purposely going towards them so that the problem doesn't become even worse. For example, when she believes that there was a chance that someone had broken into her Gringotts vault and stolen the Hufflepuff cup, Bellatrix is clearly panicked. She has been given an important job by her boss, and she was afraid that she she had messed it up somehow. But instead of folding into her worst fears, she goes into action mode. She stuns the Snatchers, tortures and questions Hermione, and interrogates Griphook. This assertive confidence presents like an unhealthy type 8, which is what a lot of counterphobic type 6s look like. Some people say that Bellatrix is an 8, but her underlying motivation isn't to have power. You don't see her desiring that in the books. What she wants is Voldemort's love. She wants to be loyal. She wants to be seen as a loyal companion. So I think that her main motivation is guidance and support from Lord Voldemort. And last but not least, let's discover the Enneagram 7s, the entertaining optimists of the Harry Potter world.
He's not Fred, I am. Honestly, woman, you call yourself our mother.
Everyone, where they are, what they're doing every minute of every day.
You knew this was coming. This is probably the easiest pair to type in the Harry Potter series. Fred and George radiate positivity and happiness. They are always longing for more, and they hate being trapped and deprived. They are the quintessential Enneagram 7s. The most obvious indication of Fred and George's Enneagram type is their love of fun. They are the definition of playful, whether that be playing pranks, playing Quidditch, or creating and running their own joke shop. And then on a deeper level, their versatility and creativity is a huge asset in the fight against Voldemort. They pursue innovation and adventure. They think outside the box and use their skills to make the world better for others. But even in the darkest of places, Fred and George hold on to their entertaining and optimistic personality. While they're reporting the war on Potter Watch, they're also making jokes about Snape and shampoo. After his ear is literally cursed off of his body, George is a never-ending trove of hole puns.
Just trying to diffuse the tension.
What I love about Fred and George, and what I love about type 7s, is that they live life to the fullest. Fred and George go to Hogwarts and become its master. They use the Mortar's map to uncover secret passageways and conquer the castle. They flirt, they laugh, they fight, they take up space. They think up grand visions and make them happen. I hate to bring up Fred's death because even in 2021, it makes me want to cry. But the line that I feel encapsulates his spirit is, Fred's eyes stared without seeing, the ghost of his last laugh still etched upon his face. Even in the horror of the Battle of Hogwarts, even in death, he holds on to that thing that made him feel alive, his humor, his laughter. And that, I think, is what makes Fred and George so special. Here are some other characters that I think belong in the Head Triad. Arthur Weasley, type 5. Mad-Eye Moody, type 6. Neville Longbottom, type 6. And Tonks, type 7. And thus concludes the longest Enneagram video I have ever written. If you are still watching this, thank you so much for letting me nerd out on my two favorite things, which is Harry Potter and the Enneagram. Just molding them together for one giant fun fest. In case you didn't know, I've made a bunch of other videos typing fictional characters. I will link those in a playlist down below. I hope you have a very magical day, and I will see you in the next video.